First Wednesday of the year of our Lord 2025. Good evening, everyone. Just in time for JKL. Thank you so much for tuning in. We wish you nothing but blessings galore in the year of our Lord 2025. Happy New Year. My name is Trevor Ombija Yulan Zalil, joining us as the sign language interpreter. But first, our top stories tonight. Fireworks and party. Skies illuminated as Kenyans usher in the new year 2025. Praying for the new year. Kenyans throng worship centers to pray and usher in the new year.
The seeds we have patiently and carefully planted will continue to germinate and grow.
Kenya is ready for takeoff. President Ruto projects optimistic outlook for 2025, even as he pledges to deal with police excesses.
All our members are worried. They don't know why the government did not honor the return to work formula and the CBA as promised.
Lecturers back to the streets. University dons issue 2-week strike notice over unfulfilled salary increment. Thank you so much for tuning in. Happy New Year. Did I already say that? Let me say it one more time. Happy 2025. All right. So Kenyans joined the rest of the world in jubilant celebrations to welcome the new year, bidding farewell to 2024 and ushering in 2025 in grand style. True to their vibrant spirit, Kenyans thronged entertainment spots and places of worship, with the country's night skies illuminated by dazzling fireworks displays. Ben Kirui joined a number of Kenyans in Nairobi to usher in the new year.
The heavens came alive as colorful fireworks illuminated the skies, accompanied by cheers and screams of excitement from ecstatic crowds. Song and dance filled the air, with a collective desire to leave behind the challenges of 2024 and embrace the possibilities of 2025 with renewed hope. Thousands flocked to iconic locations, including the GTC in Westlands, the KICC, and Old Mutual Towers, where spectacular fireworks displays created unforgettable memories. Places of worship were filled with congregants, offering heartfelt thanksgiving for surviving the trials of the past year. Through prayers, praise and worship, Kenyans expressed gratitude and optimism, with religious leaders delivering messages of hope for 2025.
Hivyo tunatumaini kwamba mwaka huu mwingine utakuwa mwaka wa baraka, mwaka wa tumaini. Sisi kama kanisa tumeutangaza ni mwaka wa kuwa wakili mwema wa kile ambacho tunacho, mwaka wa biashara.
From packed churches to entertainment spots within the city, Kenyans danced their way into 2025 with renewed hope.
Happy New Year 2025. The air is alive with euphoria as the world welcomes a new chapter.
The party was on all over the country. Party lovers filled their favorite entertainment spots, dancing their worries away.
Mwaka mpya imetubamba vyenye imeanza na believe in God. Hii mwaka tuna expect changes hata kwa gava ikuwe stable nini. Kuzio mwaka pia imekuwa hard kiasi kwa kila Mkenya.
From Mombasa to Kirinyaga County, Kerugoya town was a beehive of activity as thousands of Kenyans and worshippers gathered in churches and recreational spots to usher in the new year with joy and anticipation.
Mwaka huu wa 2025 tunaomba Mungu awe pamoja nasi, na tunaona kwa dalili leo tunaona Mungu ako pamoja nasi sababu tumeanza hii mwaka na style na tunafuraha sana.
In Lamu County, residents welcomed the new year in style with the highly anticipated boat races. This traditional event, a highlight of the region's festivities, locals and tourists mingled with a free spirit.
Where in the world can you be so close with the local community? Where can you experience this? And these days traveling is all about experience.
In Nyeri County, the community of Muiga in Kieni constituency experienced a unique celebration. A group of international visitors from China and Malaysia hosted an impressive fireworks display at 7 p.m. adding a cosmopolitan flair to the festivities. Across the county, dazzling fireworks lit up the night skies at entertainment venues and churches as residents embraced the new year with renewed optimism. Many expressed the hope for a brighter 2025. The party continued with the New Year festivities roaring on throughout the day with unmatched energy. Residents of Nairobi poured into Uhuru Park, seeking to rejuvenate their spirits from the young to the old. Everyone found something to captivate their hearts and filled them with the joy of a fresh start.
Nimekuwa na furaha siku ya leo sana. Nimekuja hapa kwa ajili ya mwaka mpya. Na nimeona watu ni wengi wanafurahia. Pia nao nawaambia siku hii mwaka yao ikuwe ya baraka na fanaka kwa.
Kitu yenye imenifanya nikakuja leo Uhuru Park ni kulete watoto wangu washerekee, wajihisi wakiwa vizuri, at least waone mwaka mpya wamevuka vizuri na kila kitu iko sawa.
From all of us at the Royal Media Services, we wish you a happy and prosperous 2025. Ben Kirui, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Ben Kirui there. And at worship centers, Kenyans ushered in the new year with messages of hope and reflection. Many gathered in churches to pray and listen to sermons that touched on unity, accountability and resilience in the face of challenges. Our reporter Emily Chebet has more.
Hundreds of Kenyans chose to begin the new year 2025 in church, seeking blessings and guidance for the new year ahead. The call for reconciliation echoed across churches, with religious leaders from the Holy Family Basilica and the All Saints Cathedral joining other leaders in reminding the faithful of their collective responsibility to foster harmony in their homes, communities, and the nation.
God is love. You must love your enemies as you love yourself. That God is mercy. You must show mercy this year to the other people. That God is gracious. May the grace of God be upon you.
The clergy did not shy away from addressing the pressing concerns facing Kenyans, calling on the government to prioritize justice and put an end to abductions, vowing to continue holding leaders accountable.
We continue praying for them to be sober. We pray for the president to remain focused. We heard him speak yesterday. But we also maintain our place as a church to remain prophetic, to tell government where it has not performed well, and we have not hesitated, even though at times like Bartimaeus, we have been told to shut up.
African Inland Church presiding Bishop Abraham Mulwa delivering messages of hope at the AIC pipeline here in Nairobi.
This is the year that we must turn to God, so that God will speak to us. And even to our nation today, there is no any other medicine but to turn to God. After 61 years, we must look back in history and see 61 years, where have we gone wrong?
While expressing their displeasure with the transition from the National Insurance Fund to Social Health Authority, the church leaders also discouraged politicians from initiating extension of term limits conversation and focus on service delivery.
We feel very sad because young people are very useful to our country. When they are terrorized, we are terrorizing our future.
There's a reality out there and people are reacting. It is not fiction. It is not drama. Si tunajionea hata kwenye runinga vile our young people wanakuwa harassed, wanaingizwa, wanashikwa, wanapelekwa kwenye kwa familia, hatujui waliko.
The idea of abduction. We pray that the Lord may see us through by giving us good leadership, that by the good Lord also to grant us the love for one another.
On this first day of the year 2025, the church is calling on all Kenyans to embrace peace, love and unity, even as they rebuild broken relationships for the betterment of this year. Emily Chebet, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Still on New Year celebrations, cities across the world came alive in celebrations with fireworks decorating the skies as billions cheered. Safin Achieng Ouma looks at how the rest of the world welcomed the New Year 2025.
After a challenging year characterized by significant political transitions, health and social complexities, billions across the world welcomed 2025 with a lot of optimism. A dazzling fireworks spectacle decorated the skyline of the British capital London as they welcomed the new year, with the awe spread to the United States, where thousands filled the streets of New York. The mood at the iconic Times Square was lit up by great entertainment, cheering and merrymaking. As the clock ticked midnight, ushering a new beginning for the country that has witnessed a significant political transition. The silent skies of Brazil exploded with fireworks as the fifth largest nation joined the rest of the world in New Year celebrations. And in Germany, revelers welcomed 2025 at Berlin's Brandenburg Gate, having great expectations for the year ahead.
We are very global citizens. We live in Brazil, we live in the United States, we have parents in Europe, in Belgium, and we want to have a global world.
The joy and love spread from Thailand to Dubai, where thousands of ecstatic revelers gathered to witness a stunning fireworks display at the world's tallest skyscraper, Burj Khalifa, as the world paused to usher in 2025 in style. The New Year spirit neutralizing the global dynamism and challenges. Safin Achieng Ouma, Citizen TV.
Now, President William Ruto has acknowledged that security agencies have at times used excessive force and even engaged in what he described as extrajudicial actions. His subtle response to the ongoing abduction crisis in the country came during his New Year address, where he admitted to government culpability. Despite public outcry, those abducted have still not been accounted for. Melita Oletenges has the details.
President William Ruto's silence amid growing rage on a recent wave of abductions targeting his critics online has been loud. During his New Year speech, the president seemed to give a subtle response as Kenyans continue to call out security agencies for going rogue.
There has been instances of excessive and extrajudicial actions by members of the security services. At the same time, it must also be acknowledged that due process is underway in appropriate institutions to ensure accountability.
Monday's protests, which saw over 30 activists arrested and later released, and court orders to the Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja to release 6 abductees, have not borne any fruit, with the families of those abducted in limbo and uncertainty on the conditions of their kin. The president subtly says they crossed the line.
It is crucial to remember that every freedom has its limits, and that public safety and order must always supersede the desire of unchecked liberty. We must ensure that our pursuit of rights and freedoms does not compromise our collective or individual safety, nor should we allow criminals to exploit constitutional rights to harm.
Ruto, who has faced harsh criticism and a wave of backlash on social media, including generation of AI pictures depicting him negatively, now says the moral fabric of the country is fleeting, calling on parents and guardians to deeply reflect on their children's upbringing.
These are clear signals that our moral fabric is at risk of decay, exacerbated by various factors, including the manipulation of digital technology, particularly social media, to amplify antisocial behavior and erode moral values.
The president, seen to be using a firm hand on his critics, says there is no space to misuse rights and freedoms.
I urge every critical stakeholder to reflect deeply on the failures that have led people to adopt radical, individualistic, and self-centered interpretations of rights and freedoms, interpretations that often seem fundamentally opposed to the rights of others and the collective good of citizens.
Ruto's admission that the government has used brutal force on Kenyans and protesters now opens a new chapter on whether police who committed heinous acts targeting Kenyans will be brought to book. Melita Oletenges, Citizen TV.
Well, at the same time, President William Ruto also laid down a roadmap for the year 2025, terming it as a turnaround year for the country, with the major capital investments set to mature this year. President Ruto says that his administration has allocated resources to key sectors that will generate jobs and boost the country's economy. Stephen Leto has more.
President Ruto opted for the Gusii Highlands to usher in the new year 2025. Where he ushered in style. Besides choirs that entertain the guests, songs that have been used to mock his administration, Kasongo Ye Ye. Also dominated the New Year celebrations at the Kisii State Lodge. And when he got down to enumerating his 2025 agenda, top on his list was healthcare, a transition from the defunct NHIF to the social health insurance scheme. He says he's keen to transform the country's healthcare system.
The universal healthcare coverage is finally here with us, and we are working round the clock to address various hiccups in its rollout that are to be expected in a program of the magnitude and ambition of Taifa Care.
President Ruto's administration has encountered challenges in the higher education financing that President Ruto now says his administration will address this year.
We are addressing the chronic higher education financing challenges that had paralyzed learning, research, and development at the peak of our education and training ecosystem. Our goal is to make higher education, particularly university education, more inclusive and ensuring that no one and no learner and no child is left behind.
Kenya Kwanza's housing pillar also faced opposition from the public and employers over the mandatory housing tax that was imposed. But President Ruto now says the houses are ready and more under construction in 2025.
Our affordable housing program now includes 873,000 houses in its pipeline at various stages of development across different parts of the country. Among these, the inaugural 8,000 units are nearing readiness for handover and occupation.
President Ruto further added that his administration is ready to boost food security by increasing supply on fertilizer subsidy for farmers.
As we speak, subsidized fertilizer is already in stores waiting for farmers.
The head of state, who was flanked by leaders from the ODM party, lauded the government's approach on bringing Kenyans together, with already key opposition figures having been co-opted into the government.
The maintenance of our social fabric and the promotion of a strong value system is a collective responsibility we cannot run away from.
I've never attended anything like this, to be honest with you. I've been a leader for over 13 years elected. And this shows the drive you have for the unity of this country.
Stephen Leto, Citizen TV.
Away from the New Year celebrations, the University Academic Staff Union, WASU, has given the government a 15-day ultimatum from today, the January 1st, to pay December salaries along with all arrears from September. This follows the government's repeated promises, including a letter from the Ministry of Education, PS Beatrice Inyangala, to implement the salary increments of the 2021-2025 collective bargaining agreement. If the payments aren't made, WASU threatens to strike again on January 15th. Willie Lusige has the details.
Solidarity forever.
While Kenyans celebrate the new year, for lecturers the start of the year is marked by unfulfilled promises. The journey to implement the 2021-2025 CBA, signed in 2021, has been full of hurdles. Tear gas and protests have become routine, with 2 major strikes in 2024 demanding salary increments. The first strike in September, followed by a sand agreement, but by the end of the month, no increment was paid.
The government did not honor the return to work formula, and therefore we were forced to go back again on strike. That is on November. We agreed that the new salaries for university lecturers will be implemented in December, and that we would also receive arrears for the month of October and November.
In December, they were shocked to receive their salaries without any increment, despite a clear directive from Beatrice Inyangala's November letter to pay both salaries and increments. University officials claim they haven't received funds from the government to implement the payments.
We saw a circular from the PS directing the universities to prepare to pay the new salaries in December. But again, as we went for Christmas, the university dons went for Christmas without the new salary as it was expected.
WASU has now issued the government a 2-week ultimatum for the full payment of the arrears, or they will halt university classes and go back to the streets.
They have refused to keep their words twice, and this time we will not go back if we begin again until we are paid everything.
They are calling for Education Minister Julius Migoso Gamba's resignation, accusing him of failing to ensure implementation.
How can you come and promise dons that we are going to pay you, then you go back to your office and you continue business as usual?
Willie Lusige, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Now, President William Ruto has put on notice all contractors handling national government projects, saying that it will not be business as usual in the new year for those who are slacking on the job. Speaking while touring the site of the multi-billion cancer center in Kisii County, President Ruto indicated his disappointment at the snail pace of the project, whose groundbreaking he led in August 2024. The stern talk comes months after the government came under sharp criticism for abandoning key infrastructural projects. The 2.2 billion shilling cancer center was said to be complete in February 2026 to ease the burden of cancer treatment for residents within the Lake region.
There is no fight, there is no quarrel. You just have to do what you have to do. And I will not allow this kind of work to, because you've been paid all the money that requires. There is no pending certificate. There is no reason whatsoever why this project is not on. So, no, just want that information to be very clear. There are very many contractors like you who are letting us down, and we will not allow them. This is the year for delivery. This is the year that we must get everything done the way we have planned. We've laid out all the plans. This is the year ya kuhakikisha kwamba kila kitu inatembea sawa.
All right, we're taking a quick break in Jklive. When you come back, we'll sample some of your messages. By the way, you can send them through at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Jklive. Messages of goodwill for 2025. I'd love to read some of them at the tail end of this broadcast, but don't go too far. Welcome back to Jklive. Let's talk about a bit of politics. 9 opposition leaders Kalonzo Musyoka and Eugene Wamalwa have given President William Ruto a 7-day ultimatum to bring to an end the rising cases of abductions in the country, lest they lead the nation in a mega anti-government protest. While speaking in Kakamega, the leaders also called for the unconditional release of protesters arrested on Monday, calling on the United Nations to suspend the joining of Kenya as a member of its Human Rights Council over what they say is the government's outright violation of human rights in recent months. Kamau Mwangi has the details.
The opposition says it is currently readying itself to lead nationwide anti-government protests if abductions and mysterious disappearances of Kenyans will not stop.
Listen to the cries of the parents of these young kids. Return the children to their parents. And if by next week you have not, you are going to see the mother of all demonstrations. Tuko tayari kurudi maandamano. Mumias muko tayari?
Tunaahidi watu wa Kakamega, watu wa Mumias East na Kenya nzima kwamba sisi hatutarudi nyuma ili tulete ukombozi wa Kenya hii in the people's year 2025.
Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka and his DAPK counterpart Eugene Wamalwa, while calling out the head of state for allegedly presiding over an era marred by cases of human rights violations by the police, including enforced disappearances, the duo warned Kenya barred from joining the United Nations Human Rights Council until all missing persons are found and reunited with their families.
The rest of the members should suspend Kenya. Waambie hakuna haja, hatutakubali mwakilishi wa Kenya aketi kwa hii kamati kabla ya watoto hawa ambao wametekwa nyara kuachiliwa huru, because it is doing the opposite, na ni aibu kubwa ya Kenya.
Tunampa makataa ya siku 7 kama tutafika mahakamani Jumatano ijayo na yeye na ID Kanja hawajawachilia vijana hao 6 Bill Mwangi na kina Kibet, ataona atamtema kuni.
Kama Mwangi, Citizen TV.
Tension remains high in Angata area along the border of Transmara West in Narok County after an unknown people raided and slashed several acres of maize plantation on a 15,000-acre piece of land on New Year's Eve. The residents have condemned the incident, which has since been linked to border disputes and deteriorating state of security in the area. Transmara South Police Commander Bashir Ali says the incident is under investigation. Safina Chiengouma has the details.
This is the aftermath of the destruction that has left residents of Angata area along the Transmara border in Narok County in shock. It is reported that a group of unknown people slashed several acres of maize plantation in this 15,000-acre parcel of land in a malicious operation that is believed to have started on 29th of December 2024, leaving residents counting losses.
Hii si mara ya kwanza. Shamba hili mwaka uliopita ulifiekwa hivyo na shamba zenye ziko jirani na hapa zilifiekwa, ambapo tumeshindwa shida iko wapi.
Dai ni mshtuko sana, sababu hizi mahindi kama hii, ukiona mahindi kama hii itakuwa kitu, sababu huwezi enda kushaka, huwezi enda kujamusha.
The residents are demanding immediate action from the government in addressing the declining state of security in the area, linking it to existing border disputes.
Tumepoteza ng'ombe 1,027. Kati ya hizo ng'ombe 1,027 ni kutoka 2013. Hizo ng'ombe hata zingine maajabu ilipikwa risasi kwa barabara hapa juzi. Ndiye alifanya RC kuja kuangalia.
Serikali tunakuomba kabisa ifanye upelelezi, tujue ni kina nani walivieka mahindi, wagharamie, ama kama itakuwa ni kaunti jirani iweze kusaidia kugharamia uharibifu huu.
Transmara South Police Commander Bashir Ali has expressed optimism with ongoing efforts to engage the neighboring communities following a series of consultative meetings that have been held between the security teams and residents from both Narok and Migori counties. Bashir also confirmed that the latest incident is under active investigation.
These are just a normal issue of hide-and-seek game of persons with criminal intention or the lands which are in contestation. Nobody wants to have dominance over it. So what is in question is just the right ownership of that piece of land. It has nothing to do with any political undertones.
Safin Achieng Oma, Citizen TV.
All right, let's take another quick break. Keep your messages of goodwill for 2025 coming through. I'll read as many of them as I can at the tail end of this bulletin at Trevor Mbidi at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Jklive. See you in just a bit. Welcome back to Jklive. In our special feature tonight, we revisit the heart-wrenching tragedy that befell the residents of Mathare 7 months ago, where more than 10 people lost their lives in floods. Our reporter Emily Chebet brings us a story of double tragedy of floods and forced eviction, the lost and fulfilled promises by government, and a fight for survival by the floods victims.
24th April 2024, residents of Mathare Area 4A went to bed as usual, oblivious of what was happening along the Nairobi River, which flows through the residential area. Amidst the heavy downpour that was being experienced across the country, a bridge meant to facilitate the passage of the raging waters had been blocked by an ever-growing mountain of garbage. Some from the nearby dumping sites and others swept down from the higher parts of the slum. As the night wore on, the unprecedented heavy rains turned catastrophic, with waters from the Nairobi River forcing their way into people's homes, leaving a trail of destruction. 11 families lost various members. Some never got a chance to retrieve bodies of their loved ones. 7 months later, the sun casts almost oppressive heat over Mathare Mradi Area 4A. Agnes Okoyo, a mother in her 60s, walks slowly towards the river's edge, her face an illustration of grief and weariness. Her eyes are fixed on the river, a powerful force that took her daughter away. As she pulls her seemingly heavy legs off the riverbank, she narrates to me her ordeal. Every passing day for her represents lost hope of ever burying the remains of her firstborn daughter. She left Agnes 3 grandchildren.
Mimi mwenyewe nilikuwa nimechukuliwa, nilibebwa kutolewa hapa, wakanitoa nje. Kwa kirudi hivi, maji ilikuwa imezidi. Sasa msichana hakoweza kutoka, yeye akabebwa na maji. Sasa kutokea wakati huo mpaka wa leo sijawahi kumpata, habari yoyote sijasikia. Mimi mwenyewe nimetembea, nimeenda mpaka Thika mochari, nimeenda Machakos mochari.
The trauma of visiting morgues and viewing bodies found along the river has weighed her down, but she says every visit gave her a glimmer of hope that one day someone somewhere will return what the Nairobi River took away from her.
Niliangalia sasa nikarudi nikachoka. Sasa singe nini? Juu kulikuwa wakati nilikuwa naenda kwa mochari, napata sasa zimeharibika. Dudu ndio zinatoka na lazima mpaka uende uangalie kama yako iko. Sasa nikaona tu sasa hakuna haja niende. Msijana yangu ndio sasa alikuwa naenda. Anatembea kwenda kuiangalia. Anakuja sasa ile anaenda niko na nia labda atapata mwenzake. Akirudi ananiambia iko hivyo, hakuna chenye amepata.
Huzuni jaisha kwa familia. Juu kila mara tukisikia body imepatikana hapa along the river, anajitokeza kwenda kuangalia mpaka kwa mochari na hampati. Kwa hivyo hiyo picture huzuni haijaisha. Kuna mafamilia pia wengine walipoteza watu wao, walipatiwa tu walilipiwa sijui gharama ya kupeleka watoto wapi, kupeleka mazishi nyumbani, na story yao ikaisha hivyo.
Months after the loss of her daughter, a decision by the government to reclaim riparian land caught her and her neighbors off guard. In the days that followed, they lost the place they had called home for years.
Si kuambiwa, mimi nilikuwa nasikia tu itakuja kubomolewa. Nilikuwa najaribu kuangalia kama naweza pata msichana. Sasa mimi nasikia huko kuna bomolewa. Ikabomolewa tu. Hata hakuna chenye nilichukua.
Maji umeosha ujahil. Tingatinga imeingia. Saa hizo ujui utaanzia wapi uende wapi, juu hakukuwa na notice, ujui kama itabomolewa ama nini. Zimebomolewa hivyo. Watu wengi wamekufa na pressure, ugonjwa wa pressure juu nile hata unafikiria utaenda wapi. utaanzia wapi?
Hao watu wote wenye walivaketiwa hakuna place wenye walikuwa wanaenda, because haikuwa well government planned, because the only government plan was now to reclaim the riparian land.
Despite the government's promise to compensate victims who have been reduced to spending cold nights in schools and social halls in the area, a number of them, especially from Mathare Area 4A, which is under Waraka constituency, did not get a single cent.
Wale wote households 40,000 hapa Nairobi ambayo wamehamishwa kwa sababu ya safety yao, kila boma serikali tutawapatia shilingi 10,000 ya kutafuta makao mahali mtakaa mkingojea mpango ya serikali.
Tunasikia tu pesa ilitoka, pesa ya floods, hiyo 10,000 ya serikali, hakuna mwenye nilisikia amepata area yangu. Hakuna.
10,000 hatukupata, because you see these things, you see when you want to vacate someone, there has to be a public participation for the viewers. Then you get the viewers from the public participation. But the 10,000 that people are getting, you are not even the victim themselves. They are the people now who live in those high areas. Because now it was not, because people are just rushing to the chief area to write their names.
Tuliambiwa hatutambuliki kama Mathare 4A. Kwa donors, kwa TV, kwa press, kila mahali wanatangaza Mathare sub county. Sasa unapata misaada mingi zile zinafaa kuja hapa, zinaenda upande wa huko juu.
Hundreds of residents were forced to relocate to their rural homes. Some are still putting up with relatives within Nairobi, while others are trying to pick up the pieces in this very same place. The government is on the spot over what residents say is failure to put mitigative measures to avert such crises.
Sisi wenyewe hatukubelieve hiyo ni maji ya ukweli, but although tuko tumeambiwa El Nino itakuja, so tulisema hiyo ni El Nino ilikujia sasa. But kuna ile contradiction ya pia dam ilifunguliwa. Kuna certain dam in either Gashie or because our river is in between the Gashie and the one coming from Kiambu.
Kiambu ilikuwa ni dam ili crack. But sisi vile tunaamini, hatuamini ni dam ili crack. Tunaamini maji ilifunguli ikaleta maafa na mahasara mingi.
This is a bridge that the residents say was the main cause of the problem. The flood waters could not pass through it. They say it is too small, and at the time, just as is the case currently, they had heaps of garbage causing blockage. The April flood victims continue to live in fear of either another water disaster or a government bulldozer.
Tunaambiwa mara 30 meters kutoka kwa mto. Kutoka hapa kwenda hapa ndio ni 30. Tunajiuliza hawa wamebaki watafurushwa vile tulifurushwa ama kuna vile watakuwa considered.
Mbeleni nilikuwa natarajia kupata huyo mtoto yangu, na vile si kupata huyo mtoto yangu nakaanga tu chini ningepata niende nimsike, lakini sasa hii imepita, sitampata. Alisaenda hivyo.
Some of the residents believe that the demolitions that have been happening in the informal settlements around the city are meant to pave way for the affordable housing project, while others feel that the Kenya Kwanza's ambitious project of the Nairobi River restoration may have added to their pain. They question the viability of the project in the absence of the community's involvement and goodwill.
Hata mayuthi wenyewe walikosa moral. Unaona? So mimi Kenya mimi nasema ni warudi kwa drawing board, wakuje wa work na community. Kwanza hii area yetu my friend tulikuwa into cells, into alphabetical orders. So sisi wenyewe tunajijua, we know our leaders. So wakikuja pale kwa area code yetu mali tunatoka my friend, I think it will be easy.
Behind me here is the Nairobi River, where thousands of families have been living for many years. But 7 months ago, this same river turned deadly, sweeping away communities. And until now, some are yet to retrieve bodies of their loved ones. But even as they rebuild their lives, little has changed in terms of the river's reclamation. Some using the riparian area as vegetable gardens, even as they await the so-called Nairobi River Reclamation Program. Emily Chebet, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
All right, thank you for staying with Jklive. I promised you that I'd read some of your messages of 2025. Let's bring them up on screen before we wrap up this bulletin. The first on Wednesday of 2025. Babu Michael says, wishing the whole Royal Media Services fraternity and all Kenyans a happy 2025. We had lots of challenges in 2024 as Kenyans, which should serve as lessons and experience in this new year. Our hope must always be high. Thank you all. Thank you, Babu Michael. Felix says, wishing all Kenyans a blessed and fruitful year ahead, praying for the families of the youth who have disappeared over the last few weeks. Absolutely. Wawire says, wishing all Kenyans a blessed and fruitful year ahead. And Kisi Finest says, your dedication and hard work play a vital role in keeping our community informed, and we are grateful for your commitment. Together, let's continue to inspire and uplift each other as we navigate the challenges and triumphs that lie ahead. Wishing you all a happy new year. Thank you so much. Joseph says, Trevor, this is a year of financial success and all other things will be good and will run smoothly. Joseph Vunde, Mwalimu from Kitui. Asante sana Mwalimu. Abona says, happy blessed 2025. May the good Lord continue showering his blessings on you all. Thank you very much. See what else is coming on. Oseno Mark says, happy new year. It's however breathtaking to learn that dons have not been paid what they were promised. Of the many things the government should address as a matter of urgency, this one should top the list. It is traumatizing. Thank you, Seno. Engineer Lazaro says, happy new year, Team RMS staff and fans all over the world. We are promising to maintain Citizen TV, Ramogi TV, Ramogi FM team as our sources of news and entertainment. Otherwise, government should pay Madare River flood victims something. Thank you very much, Engineer Lazaro, very ardent viewer of Citizen TV and Royal Media Services products. Architect Evans Asio says, happy new year 2025. As this year begins, may God's favor rest upon us and entire country. Remember his promise. The Lord your God will bless you in all your work and in everything you put your hand to. Deuteronomy 15:10. Amen, Architect. Thank you so much. Peterson Washira from Kuko says, happy new year 2025 to you and your loved ones. May the new year bring happiness and favor. May God bless you and keep you. May he shine his light and light your path in this and coming years. Thank you so much for your great messages. That's where we leave JKL for now. Again, we say happy new year from myself and Yulan Zale and the entire team from Royal Media Services. We say good night and God bless.